when the oil was so hard to find, supposedly, what the federal government did was came up with ways to figure out how the science could support what the people were saying. And the people were saying, there's oil, there's a problem. So what the scientists did was they devised a caged mussel study. And they literally, Noah took mussels and put them in cages and deployed them at depths. So one was right at like 1 meter below the water surface, 3 meters, 5 meters, then I think it went down to 15, all the way down to 50 or so meters. And every so often, the buoy would be pulled up, the cages would be pulled up, and these mussels would be sacrificed, then the tissues analyzed. The thing is, mussels act like a sponge. When you're going out and sampling for oil in the water, it's just like a snapshot in time. You're not really getting what the tide's going in and out and what the fish or the shellfish might really be exposed to. So Linda, just sit down, because what Teresa asked for was other people to speak, so I do want to hear what other people have observed. I think we should take turns and not just, and you're blocking people seeing behind you, so just sit down, be calm. Because I do want to hear from other people, and we won't forget you, but because there's a lot of people who haven't said anything, and Teresa did ask for other people. So what those mussels showed was that there actually was an invisible cloud of oil that was in the water column, but it wasn't invisible to the shellfish. And the shellfish did pick it up. So that is why I asked the question about what Dr. Kate is going to talk about.
There is a program that's been going on for several decades called the Mussel Watch Program. And NOAA scientists and contractors have been looking at molluscan shellfish, oysters, clams, mussels, and scallops around the United States. There are several locations here in the Northern Gulf where they have been sampling. And the last tests that were run were before the oil came ashore. So what we have is a background level of materials from whatever source that were in the water column where these shellfish were. A little bit of background, first of all, and you heard this from Dr. Walker, and we know it to be fact that the dispersants break the oil up into very small micro bubbles or micro globs. These are in the same size range that filter feeding molluscan shellfish consume, and that is, in the case of oysters, from 3 millionths of a meter to 12 millionths of a meter, or microns as we call them. So if you can imagine these shellfish are out there, as her mussels were in Alaska, filter feeding this material. Now, as the oil has been dispersed by the dispersants, which were the purpose of the dispersants, into these micro globs, they are so dispersed that we may not be able to find them with our sampling, but the shellfish, in case of oysters, which filter feed about 50 gallons a day, will be removing that. And when it gets into the system, it affects their tissues, and in the case of oysters, causes lesions, which then affect the health and the reproductive capability of the oysters. Now, having said this, I will point out to you that until this past week, the Mussel Watch Program folks were refused permission to go into the Gulf of Mexico and take samples. They were refused to go. There is an element within NOAA that found this to be inappropriate, and through lobbying efforts, they have now been approved to return to the Gulf and to continue Mussel Watch. Until they do, we will not know the difference between what were in the oysters before the spill moved ashore and what is in them now. But we do know from samples of oysters and mussels that were down towards the mouth of the river, the Mississippi River, that oil and PAHs have been found and confirmed to be in their tissues. So we do know that what's been dispersed is now being taken up by at least the filter feeding shellfish.
Do you believe that's what killed 90% of the oysters? And do you think?
No, I do not. And let me answer this question. I believe it was low dissolved oxygen, but the issue is what caused that low DO.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
We have had low DO conditions, and the DMR will tell you that before they found the up to 90% oyster mortalities, their own personnel found samples that were 2 and 1.5 parts per million dissolved oxygen. So they knew that there was a pending issue of oyster and other mortalities. I was in that area at the time. There were deaths of crabs and shrimp. There have been crab and shrimp and fish deaths reported from the Bell Fountain beach area. So we know it's not just one isolated incident. We know it's a whole range of incidents. We also know that the areas has been very warm. It's been a very warm summer, and you cannot dissolve a lot of oxygen in warm water. And so we believe, at least I believe, that there was an additional factor, and that was the dispersed oil that added to this factor, and or the bacterial decontamination of this oil.
Thank you.